I will try to get to it quite quickly so we can have a long discussion about the top of the list. Number 8, Pascal Siakam. Be a 2-time champion. Last finals he was in, Game 1. 14 of 17 from the field with 32 points. Game 1 of those finals. Games, and they were, by the way, big underdogs at that moment. Again, Clay was healthy and people thought Durant was coming back.
And he probably averaged 20-something.
Yes, he averaged 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. And in the Game 6 clincher, he had 26 and 10. I mean, that's a hell of a first-time finals performance. Go ahead, Brew.
If they were to win, and obviously he'd play well, it might seal him as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I get it. He's only been, a 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA?
That was my whole take. That was what I built.
You actually have a graphic?
No, I didn't build a graphic. I was like, looking at it, I was like, he was most improved player. He's 3-time All-Star. He's 2-time champion. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
I think it would.
If they win it, yeah, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Yes, he'd be in the
That's
Hall
what
of
I
Fame.
think he gained.
Yes.
I mean, obviously,
there you go.
The ring, but
Number 8. Number 7, David Stern. Late, great David Stern. So here's the deal.
David Stern.
I think the Twitter and social media just fevers about, what are the ratings going to be? Oh, they're going to be upset. Oh, is totally meaningless, especially because the NBA just signed a 10-year television deal, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't change the fact that if the ratings are bad, there's going to be a lot of very funny old David Stern memes saying David Stern would never allow these finals on his watch. Nice little David Stern recollection for one of the great commissioners in sports history. So late great David Stern, number 7. Number 6, J-Dub. Scottie Pippen 2.0, not better, newer. Again, if Shai is, again, he's not Michael Jordan, but a guard, wins MVP, leads team in scoring. J-Dub, his running mate, great defender, but also can score 20+ like prime Scottie could. It's something. Number 5, Sam Presti. He is number 1 on the anxiety list going into these finals. Like, oh my God, we have to win. We have to win. When he's with the Spurs, the reporting there is he was the single most influential person in drafting Tony Parker. He then comes to Seattle Supersonics. It's like, at number 2, I think we should go Durant. Now, that one was easy.
Right.
However, Harden was not a consensus pick. Westbrook was not a consensus pick. Ibaka was not a consensus pick. The Shai, getting him in was great. Remember, they traded up from 4 to 2 to get Chet. They drafted Jalen Williams.
Lou Dort was undrafted.
Great point. And so
he's phenomenal.
If they win the championship, he is minted as right now the gold standard for GM in the NBA. By the way, if you want to read about Sam Presti, Breakfast Balls Danny Parkins wrote a book that he's one of the main characters on. Pipeline to the Pros. D3. Brew is featured in that book.
D3.
As a D3 player and basketball analyst. You're quoted in the book.
Yeah.
Number 4, Chet. Listen, we don't have time to get into all of the reasons why, but here's what I'm here to tell you something. America loves this type of guy. And if
we can guess one reason.
But also, it's not just the white American NBA star, but also the way he carries himself, his kind of demeanor. You read into more of his his lineage growing up. He could be a bit of a star in the making if they play really well and he plays really well. Chet's number 4.
You're coming around on Chet, which I like, because Wilds was on Chet. I've been on Chet. He's actually my guy now.
No.
You said last week when I said Chet's my guy, you said, yeah, he is.
I worry about his long-term health since he broke a hip before he was old enough to drink. However, he's playing quite well.
He's nice.
Number 3, Rick Carlisle.
Yeah.
Brew. Champion coach with 2 different teams. Do you know the list? You would get 2 of them easy.
How many are there on there?
There's 3. He would be 4. 2 of them are easy.
Phil Jackson.
Another obvious one. Pat Riley.
Yeah.
And then we can show Dust. Do we have the graphic? If we do, great. If not, don't worry about it. I just want to give Alex Hannum some love. Player coach Alex Hannum, and then won the championship.
Wow.
And so that's
and then the level of his upsets would be ridiculous.
Oh, unbelievable. All right, number 2, Tyrese Haliburton, and would become the greatest player in the history of his franchise, with respect to Rick Smits. It would. I'm sorry, that's mean. Respect to Paul George. There's no doubt about it. And then number 1, at number 1 is obviously SGA. who is trying to join this list, Brew. Guards to win the MVP and the title that year. This is the full list. Kuzi, Magic in 87, Michael Jordan 4 times, and Steph. And this is something you threw out on the call, and I want to throw it to you here. Because this was Brew's idea, and then I did some of the research I assume you did too. I believe that the only guards, if Shai finishes this off, who had better seasons or a better season than Shai this year would be Michael and Magic. Because the only year Steph won MVP and the title, Steph's numbers were not great. I mean, he won MVP.
He wasn't Finals
but
MVP.
I forgot about that. He wasn't Finals MVP. But we could show it to you side by side. He was 24 a game. It was the next year that he averaged 30, but they lost the finals. Kobe averaged 30 3 times. Those years, they lost in round 2 and lost in round 1 twice. The year he won MVP, they made it to the finals, lost in 6, and got absolutely clocked in that game 6. Like, his 5 ring years for Kobe, he got a total in those 5 years he won a ring, of 3 MVP votes, first place MVP votes. Like, I think Shai he would join Michael and Magic as the best guard seasons ever. Michael had a bunch. Magic 87 stands out. So
yeah, because what I was saying was someone had asked me a few days ago if Shai wins Finals MVP, which would be MVP regular season, champion, and Finals MVP.
And scoring champion.
And scoring champion. Would this be one of the best 5 guard seasons ever? And look, Jordan did all of that, plus was first team all defense 4 times.
Yeah.
So if you give him 4 of the years,
and Magic in 87.
Magic in 87 led the league, was the MVP, led the league in assists with 12 a game, averaged 24 points a game, was the Lakers' lead.
They won 65
Carried
games.
a 39-year-old Jabbar to, and they won 65 games, as you said. So I would put that year as well ahead. And they beat Bird, Celtics, who in 86, the year before, people think was one of the best teams ever. So that's obviously better than beating these Pacers, assuming that's what happens. So I would put those years ahead of it. But you said on the call, if you just say Jordan, just condense that to 1 year.
Jordan.
Then absolutely it's in the top 5
Do you
somewhere.
agree it's better if he finishes it off than any single Steph or Kobe year? Again, I think Kobe's the...
Well, in accomplishments, yes. Watching the games, I would go with Steph. Now, Steph was not Finals MVP.
Oh, okay, Steph is...
Yeah, I mean, if you just go by accomplishments, it's going to be Shai.
But I thought Steph's best year was 2016, but they lost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
30 was unanimous MVP.
Yes.
They won 73. But, yeah, he didn't win the Finals.
Before we talk Steph and Magic and Michael, if he wins Finals MVP, and they obviously win, is he the best player alive?
So I talked about that on my pod this morning. I would still think Joker's better than him. However, he would have, if you were an SGA fan and you were like, hey, he won the title. People don't look at it as like he has superstars around him, even though it's an excellent team. He was scoring champ. He was MVP. He was great in the playoffs. And by the way, the guy you guys are saying is better than him, Joker, they played in a series and his team won.
And Joker wasn't Joker-esque.
He wasn't
bad,
not for all
but
7
he wasn't
games.
what
Right.
we're used to seeing him every game.
Right.
Phenomenal.
And so
And
I would still think Joker's the best player, but it would be, and people get annoyed when I say this sometimes, I think some sports arguments are not legitimate. Like, I don't think every argument, that's a legitimate argument. Like, no, that's you can't.
Like, you can't have that opinion.
Right, you're not allowed to have the opinion that, I don't want to, whatever. Duncan's the greatest player of all time.
Right.
Like, even though, and I think he's like 6.
that one.
Okay, maybe that's a bad one, but you know what I mean. Some opinions, I think you're allowed to have the opinion that Shai's the best player alive. But
look, we're in a period, let's just keep it real, where there is no definitive best player alive. I probably would say it's Joker too, but we've had periods where is it Magic or Bird who's the best? I mean, Jordan was clearly the best. LeBron was clearly the best for a while. wilt for, like you've had seasons where guys are clearly the best, but this is one where it's, as I've said it, going into these playoffs, who's going to win number 2? If Shai goes, and I'm not trying to get way out in front of this, but if he wins this year, some will say he's the best. I think that's
a little
just easy. Yeah, I mean, just because you win the championship doesn't mean you're the best player. I would say if he came back and won it next year, then yeah, you got the claim to the best player in the world.
When you say your opinions you're not allowed to have, I understand it. The challenging part for Shai is if suppose you said no, Joker's the best, and I was a Shai guy. I'm like, well, what do you want to see from him? He did every, like, you have an entryway for Josh Allen to be better than Mahomes. And it's a lot of winning Super Bowl MVP and leading the league in passing and winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but if he did all that, like I said, he would have an argument. I would still probably think it's Mahomes if he did it once.
Joker's got 3 times as many MVPs.
And so, but that's a career.
I think what he does is he validates this year's MVP because a lot of people think it should have been Joker, and it would have been Joker had he not won before. And Nick, because I think you can argue Haliburton could be ahead of SGA in terms of who takes the greatest leap with a final.
Oh, you mean that Haliburton number one most?
Yeah, Haliburton goes from most underrated, most overrated, the least played player on Team USA. Everybody talks about Tatum. Haliburton played 3 games, 9 minutes a game, lowest on the team.
Yep.
To all of a sudden leading this team, no one thought could win the championship to the final. So he takes a huge leap. This is what SGA gets, though. I think there are a few players in the league that are in that, where are they going to end up historically? Top 20-ish, 25-ish. You got Luka, who's descending right now in it, but Luka, Giannis, Jokic.
Weight-wise?
Then you had LeBron, Steph, and KD of the previous generation. Those are the guys. Shai enters that.
Of course.
So now it's like, where's Shai going to end up? Is he going to end up in the top 20, 25 of all time? Yeah. Kawhi was kind of in that too. Like Tatum, we've never, even when they won it last year, we have not said, oh, where's Tatum? Who's he going to displace? And Shai would look like, oh, he's going to displace somebody.
And like in 2015 Wilds, I didn't leave those finals like, oh, Steph was MVP. Steph won the championship. Steph beat LeBron. I guess he's better than LeBron.
Right.
I was like, a lot of people argued it, and I was like, I don't believe it to be the case. Then the next year in 2016, when they won 73 games, he was unanimous MVP. He was this close to it being like, you can say you think it's LeBron, but like Steph has now taken the mantle, which is why that series was so important in the moment. Like. So that's the answer. What would Shai have to do?
Here's what I will say for you quickly.
Okay,
if Shai had, and this is not fair really, if Shai's game was as spectacular and high-flying as Ant or Ja,
then we do it.
Then he would be, I guarantee he'd be viewed as the best player in the world if they won it. It's not really fair, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
I really think that would be the case.
Okay, Dusty's yelling at me.
He said more on this in King of the Hill.
Now
it's not our fault Tom Thibodeau got fired.
He's giving me speeches to tell you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm getting yelled at.
I'm up here dropping knowledge.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, Dust, take that.
But now
Dusty, are we doing most of it? Okay, I don't even know. I was waiting for a music cue.
Oh, okay.
I know one of them.
We have music?
Well, we're trying to. It didn't really work.
No,
now it's time for most to lose. There we go.
I like the music.
Sorry.
That was
didn't work.
Was that a Kevin Wildes idea?
They don't all work.
That's good music.
Number 5 on most to lose. And this one pains me, guys. First things first.
Why are we losing?
Listen, we work for a forward-thinking network, and I like to think we're a forward-thinking show. This show, a month ago, had the foresight. You know who I think is going to be a superstar? Tyrese Haliburton. This network, years ago, had the foresight. Let's get in the Indy 500 business. And then months ago, let's send First Things First, the only show on the network to have ties to Indiana, to Indianapolis. Right along the time the Pacers could be making a run to the finals. On a very populated take landscape, we had an opportunity to be the only show with someone from Kansas City, the team of the NFL, and a show that gobbled up all of the Indiana real estate, win or lose. No. And we threw it away because Brew wouldn't pick them.
Saying strategically,
Strategically, we had it.
Didn't work.
We had it all.
They gotta win.
Wild.
What if they don't win?
No, I'm the Pacers guy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
You are right. If you're saying if they
UConn.
if
I can't
Indiana
And then
wins.
UConn, you have the Pacers, I have the Chiefs. We had it all in front of us.
If Indiana wins.
And number 4,
We lost it.
That is true.
Reggie. If the Pacers win, our long national nightmare of 30 years is over, and there's a new face of the Indiana Pacers. Thank God. Number 3, Paul George. I feel bad for Paul George because the next 2 weeks, it's going to be a bunch of the Pacers turn Paul George into Oladipo and Sabonis, which then turned into Haliburton. The Thunder turned Paul George into Shea and J-Dub. It's going to be the Paul George biggest. Paul George was an awesome player, broke his leg, fought his way back, finished 3rd in MVP voting his last year in Oklahoma City, and in a lot of ways delivered him this championship. Like, he's got to be a punchline.
But are they lying?
Is he having anything to lose? Like, he just
because
loses
people
either
are
way?
yes, no matter what,
He's
people are going to
losing
make
now.
fun of him.
Yeah, people are. Yeah.
Most to lose mainstay. Number 2, Michael Jordan. Brew, I bet this will shock you. If Shea wins the championship, most points per game in a season that you won the championship, he displaces Michael Jordan.
This is the first legit Jordan you've had.
That is. Yes.
Isn't that
is the
shocking?
First legit.
And that.
Hold on.
Again.
He has to average 33
No.
for the finals?
That's what he averaged this
During
regular,
the regular season.
That is the most points
okay. I thought you were
in a season for a guy that won the championship.
Got it.
Jordan's held that for 32 years.
Wow.
Now they were scoring 55 points a game, and Jordan averaged 32. But
They were not scoring 55. And number 1, and we don't need to spend much time on it, it kind of buttons the number 5 Brew.
Yeah.
I mean,
how am I? I was part of the FTF.
I know. Exactly. That's how
I agree.
disappointed we are.
If the Pacers win, I could have been just wearing
The man.
crown. I might be able to find a way though. I
You're
found a way to
100% going
do
to.
Naptown.
I mean, yeah. By the way, Brew became the Naptown guy
Cavs.
after picking
Right.
the Cavs to beat him.
There's a loophole out there. I'll find it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.